Good morning. Hi, I'm Pam Fox. Thanks for watching. Well, it's Monday morning here, and I had a long 3-day weekend. I'm just trying to get revved up to start my day. But I wanted to do this video really quick. So last week, the assignment on the Up Your Game Facebook page for this month's 30-day challenge, Reach Out and Touch Someone, was to come up with a couple of people in your family who you want to improve your relationship with, and then think of ways that you can make those connections, either make the connections, increase the frequency of the connections, come up with creative new ideas for connections, and then apply those and see what happens. And so for me, the last really almost 2 months, I've been applying this with my two grown adult children. And just like I said, for my son, I've been increasing the frequency of the text. I'm trying to text him once a week. With my daughter, just coming up with new ways to spend quality time with her, because we already connect really quite frequently as it is. So I got to spend 2 weekends ago. I spent an entire weekend with my daughter, which was great. Saturday I got to have lunch with my son. So I'm just really enjoying this, and I hope that some great things are coming out of it for some of you as well. It is what you make it, right? Like anything in life, it is what you put into it. But this morning, what I wanted to talk about was folks who don't have family. And I know that this occurs more commonly than most people realize, where people feel alone in this world because they don't really have the support system that's ideal, you know, a large, supportive, present family. So I just want to talk about that for a minute. If that's you, stay tuned. I'm just gonna talk basically, but I am gonna give an assignment and a few ideas for that. I do have an amazing family, very supportive, very loving. It's all I've ever known. In the year 1997, my husband was tragically and suddenly taken from us. He died. And I was left, you know, I had my children, my young children, and then this wonderful supportive family around me. And what I ended up doing was packing up my children and moving in with my husband's parents. And it was during that time that, this is the very day that I moved in with my in-laws. My mother-in-law said that her church was doing this river rafting trip. It was a 3-day river rafting trip. It was only $75, and that she had signed me up for it, basically. I was like, that seemed a little out of my comfort zone, but when I was younger, well, I still do, but especially when I was younger, I loved, you know, anything outdoorsy and extreme and that kind of thing. So the idea of going on a 3-day camping / river rafting trip on the Deschutes River sounded pretty enticing. So I was like, okay, I'll do it, even though I was going to be around a bunch of strangers, and that was out of my comfort zone. So I did. And what this ended up doing for me, I just moved to a new town where I knew pretty much nobody, except for my in-laws. Started going to this church, and during that 3-day trip, these people were very warm. They were very kind. They were very chill, and they just made me feel welcome. They made me feel like a friend. They made me feel accepted and loved. And so that weekend began really a 10-year long period of my life where I belonged to a new family. And so because of that experience, when I'm speaking of the church family, the church that I started going to, was my mother-in-law's church. Because of that experience, I now know that I could pack up and move anywhere on this planet. I could move thousands away from my blood family, and I know that I could create a new family wherever I go. I know that I could do that as long as I could find a group of people like I did when I started going to that church. Immerse myself into a new group of people, of loving people. You can create a new family. And so that's really all I wanted to say this morning, is that If you are in a situation where you're feeling alone because you don't have, some people don't have family, they just don't have family. Some people have had to exclude their family from their lives for different reasons. And so, whatever reason it is for you, if you don't have that support system, you can create a family. You can create a family. And so, does this come easy? Maybe not. It may take some work. So your assignment basically is, if you find yourself in this category, is to sit down and take some time and identify what your passions are. Identify what your passions are. For me, I wasn't really a churchgoer at this time. I wasn't really immersed deeply in the Christian faith, but I was starting. I just lost my husband. I'd had that foundation. I grew up in the church, and then I'd walked away from the church. I just lost my husband, and here I was with these 2 little kids, and I was devastated. And so I was getting back into the church because I was desperate, and I didn't really know how to go on with my life, feeling the way I was feeling. And so I was reaching out to God, and I was seeking God, and I was seeking a higher power to help me with what I was dealing with. So that's where I was at. That was my passion at the time. And so maybe for you, maybe getting involved in a church would be a way to create a new family. So sit down and figure out, identify what your passions are. Maybe you're going to join, some kind of a club. Maybe you're going to join, maybe you love to hike or you love photography. If you live in a really populated area, there's going to be every kind of hobby, and, there's going to be a club for just about everything. And if you're not sure what your passions are, this might be a good time for you to start exploring that. We should all have a passion in life. We really should. So you can locate groups or clubs and, join them. And Facebook is a great place as well, too. It's not going to be, if you're not having that intimate one-on-one connection with people, but still in a Facebook group, if you get into a Facebook group where you really share, passions, and you're with other people that are like you, that can be a great source of connection and support. Believe it or not, I'm in a couple of plant-based groups on Facebook, and it's been a wonderful source of support for me, especially when I first became vegan, to help me learn what other people were doing, what their challenges were, what their successes were. I think that Facebook groups can be a wonderful source of support for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. But you can volunteer is another thing that you can do. Getting involved in something that you passionately believe in and volunteering for that. You're going to have, I know a group of people here in my community who also volunteer for the local food bank. And they are a very tight group of people. They are close friends because they volunteer together doing something that they, feel passionately about. So you can develop those family connections, but you may have to do, some work. One other thing you can do, if you haven't already done this, is you can get a pet. If you're feeling alone and maybe you've got social anxiety and you're thinking, Pam, that all sounds good, but I just can't get out there. It's just too hard, just being around people. It's just, I get nervous and my heart rate goes up and I feel sick and I can't do it. And I understand that, there's all different levels of social anxiety. I experience social anxiety myself. But getting a pet will at least give you that, you'll have that consistent, ongoing interaction with someone, even if it's an animal, that you're expressing love and receiving love for. So your assignment is to sit down and take some time, identify your passions, and then think about it. What can I do to create a family? Yes, this takes work. It takes going within. It takes introspect. And I think a lot of times, when it comes to going within, like taking time and analyzing ourselves, I don't know if we're just lazy or if it's just too painful to go there, but I think a lot of us just put that off. We don't want to take the time to look within and ask the questions like, why don't I have a family? Why do I avoid social situations? And what can I do about it? We can do the work. It's a choice. It's really up to us. at the Integrative Institute, I can't even say the name of my own school, Institute for Integrative Nutrition, where I'm attending school to become a health coach. We are encouraged and instructed to do just that, to look within, to ask the questions, and to come up with our own solutions. And then we're trained to do that with our clients, because oftentimes if we take the time, ask the questions, analyze ourselves, we can come up with solutions. Sometimes we can come up with great solutions. Not that we shouldn't ask for help. There's nothing wrong for going to others and asking for help with a trusted source. I think we ask for help much too infrequently in our culture. There's nothing wrong with getting help. But try this. Take some time, go within, ask the questions, and see what answers you can come up with. Write everything down. Develop a plan. What am I going to do? What steps am I going to take to create a loving and supportive family for myself? Okay? All right. Well, that is it for today. I do thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. And I'm just sending out love and encouragement to you. And until next time, thanks for watching.